The most fundamental rule when it comes to PvP is using as many cookies as possible when heading into battle. 5 cookies should beat 2 cookies, right? Well, how about 6 cookies versus 2 cookies? An even more unbalanced fight. Let's put that theory to the test. Here's 2 arcade arena teams. On the right we got Wildberry, Marshmallow Bunny, and 4 other cookies, sitting at 4 million power. On the left we got Wildberry and Bunny with no other teammates. Wildberry is the only cookie capable of killing his opponents. Both teams have a 5A Wildberry, so the player on the right has a clear advantage. Now let's see what happens in battle. My team of 2 cookies beat the opponent by a landslide. Everyone died in 1 hit. But how? How is that possible? Well, this is the story of the best meta I've ever seen. How the arcade arena broke the most fundamental rules of PvP, and how teammates hold Wildberry back. Now, one single battle isn't enough proof, so let's attack our next opponent, a huge whale. They have a Wildberry and Marshmallow Bunny, with good ascensions of course, but the insane part is that they have a 5A Moonlight, a 4A Frost Queen, and 5A Wicked Cookies. They have 5.9 million power. Will 2 cookies be enough to stop them? Wildberry can in fact handle whales, but let's take it a step further. That player's team wasn't very meta, but this one is. Our next opponent is using an extremely meta one-shot comp based around the water element. It has Cloud Hate, Rebel, Frill, Seafarty, Menthol, and Bunny. Their treasures are the Scroll, Chest, and Paper Charm, treasures that are catered for one-shotting. However, the 2 cookie team I'm using has a feather, so if Wildberry dies he can revive. If he dies a second time, he can live longer with the insignia and get another attack in, and the Flamingo Tube is a treasure that makes him deal the most damage. Wildberry scales off HP, so he goes well with the tube treasure and peanuts. It also makes him tankier of course. Now let's fight the water team and see what happens when they one-shot Wildberry. Wildberry died, then revived, then killed everyone. Sounds like it came straight out of a movie. The water cop is supposed to be top meta, so, you know what? Let's fight another one. This opponent has good ascensions this time, a high level crystal gem as well. Let's see if Wildberry gets overwhelmed by this or not. So you're probably wondering why I'm not using any more cookies on purpose. Like, I could add in a legendary or some healers, but I don't. And that's because of Wildberry's skill. Look really closely at this icon. The more he gets hit after his skill is activated, the more of these stacks he gets. He can get up to 15 of these stacks. He gets a stack whenever an enemy hits him with their attack. The more stacks Wildberry has, once he does his final big punch, the more damage he does. If you have a full team of cookies, your other cookies will soak up some hits for Wildberry, which gives him less stacks. But if Wildberry's alone, he easily reaches 15 stacks. But you may be wondering why Bunny's here out of all cookies. Well, Bunny is safeguarded, can't be hit by attacks, and doesn't steal Wildberry's stacks. Bunny heals and buffs Wildberry's damage, so that's why the perfect team is only these 2 cookies. However, there's a catch. People have been trying to counter counter the 2 cookie team due to how horrifying and dangerous it is. That's right, 2 cookies is much more scary than 6 cookies now. This opponent does not want to get trolled. They're using a team full of tanky cookies, while including Wildberry and Bunny. These tanks tend to hit our own Wildberry with attacks less often, plus Wildberry has a hard time one-shotting tanky cookies, especially Financier and Doyle. Usually our Wildberry's feather and insignia would be drained over time and eventually he'd die, but just watch what happens. That was extremely close, but sometimes the 2 cookie team still wins, even when facing a counter. That's how scary it is. So eventually the arcade arena was derailed and the most cursed comps started showing up. For example, water teams that have less than 6 cookies. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, they exist. They're probably good, but the arcade arena season's about to end, so it's too late for me to dig into that. Then we got this homemade Yeti team. I don't want to fight this one because it looks like it has tons of tricks up its sleeve. Yeah, it's best not to fight extremely cursed teams. Then we got this one with a bunch of tanks. Definitely intended to counter the 2 cookie team. It has Rockstar to heal the team after getting punched, Black Pearl to dodge Wildberry punches, the Candle Treasure to silence Wildberry while he's trying to use his skill, and their own Wildberry. I'm gonna assume all these cursed thingies beat Wildberry, so it's best not to test my luck. Now it's time for the ultimate battle, a mirror match. Same treasures, same team. Would this end in a perfect draw? Or would some sort of RNG occur and something insane happens? Or do topic substats make a difference? Most importantly, this is proof that the 2 cookie team is meta, cause our opponent's using it, and it's pretty common in Grandmaster 2 and above. Here we go, a 2v2. That was extremely close. So I was fooling around in practice battles against myself, and it turns out that when it's a 2v2, the Wildberry with the most attack speed or cooldown wins. Of course, this doesn't matter since doing mirror matches is too risky for trophies, but I gotta document this since the season's gonna end. Well, after all that, now we know why Wildberry got banned in previous seasons. That's all for today's video. Next time I'll head back into the normal arena and try out some teams there, so subscribe to see that.